Hey there, everybody! Welcome to our review of The Amazing Race Season 32, the Mega Leg.
No, you can't say it like that. It's got to be like this. Mega leg.
Mega Leg!
Right? Like
See,
D'Angelo. Mega leg.
we gotta be dramatic. We gotta be. The thing is, this is what the leg should have been. It should have been Mega Leg. Mega Leg. It should have.
Mega leg.
We should have all been able to do Mega Leg jazz hands throughout the entirety of this video. It is right before Thanksgiving. We should be thankful. But instead, I gotta rip the Band-Aid off. This was probably like my least favorite episode of the season.
Yeah, I'm not going to come on here and pretend that this was my favorite leg because it wasn't. But it had all the makings of being like a really great mega leg where all kinds of interesting fun stuff would happen, but there's a mega alliance, and whenever there's a mega alliance, things are pretty predictable.
The thing is, like, there were some pretty good tasks in here.
Yes.
I thought there was a pretty, we've seen India a lot on The Amazing Race, but they found some new stuff to do with it. But if I ever have to hear, what is it, Mind 5 or Mind 5? I don't even really actually know which one it is.
It's the Mine 5 because they all like made their alliance when they were getting their little yields. Is in the Mine. The Mine 5 is over. It's over. It's over.
I had already blocked that out, but anyway, the thing is, if I have to hear the words Mind 5 one more time, it's gonna be a brutal Thanksgiving, everyone.
No, it is done. That alliance is over. They have ganged up on the blondes, and now we no longer have them.
We'll have a lot of stuff to talk through because really, I understand the strategy of it in a lot of ways, but I still have big questions. Before we go further, though, if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. This is the best way to make sure you don't miss any other Amazing Race discussion we've got coming up.
Yeah, for sure. Be subscribed to our channel. You definitely don't want to miss anything.
And this episode...
We got to talk about the alliance because really that is the part of this episode that frustrated me the most. And I am not here dogging on anybody who is on this show or on any show that decides to get into an alliance. Getting into alliance, great gameplay. It works out really well. It is working out really well here. It just like steamrolled everybody over on Big Brother 22. It is great gameplay, but it is not fun viewership for all of us watching. And so this is where we are, where we basically had 5 against 1, and there was just no way for the girls to get out of this mess. They were just getting yielded, and it was the last yields. And yeah, it was very, very frustrating to watch.
Here's the thing, though, that I think is kind of weird, is that I was trying to think about this. Like, let's say the Mind 5, sorry, I said it again, but let's say that this alliance never existed, and these were all just teams on the race. It's like, I like all of these teams individually.
Oh,
like,
me too.
That's kind of the weird thing here. I can't, hate them because I don't dislike any of the teams, but I feel like we would all be really, really happy if this was the top 5 and there was no alliance, because it's like, okay, here are 5 really worthy teams who are all really, really good. Kalyn and Haley, they have been great sports. They have been fun to watch.
Yes, they have been.
I don't think any of us can sit here and say that in terms of skill, they're deserving of the final 5 more than the 5 teams that are there.
I like rooting for the underdog, so I was rooting for them to get there, but because I knew it was 5 against 1, I knew that it was sort of a fruitless effort in my part of rooting for them. But for me, watching it too and seeing sort of the Mind 5 waste their yields, because that's what it feels like. Because as much as I love the girls, they weren't going to win. It was unlikely. They have finished last a lot. They've been struggling. They've been having a great time, but they just haven't really had a lot of luck with stuff, like even just getting bad cabs. They've had that happen to them a couple of times. It's been tough for them. So if you're already down to the Mind 5 and then the blondes who are not going to win this, and this is the last time you could use a yield. Why are you using it on Haley and Kalyn? I don't understand, because it is unlikely that they are going to win, and you're wasting it on getting them out. This is the time to get out one of the other people in the alliance, because you're gonna be all after each other anyways next time.
I don't think it is some affront to humanity to just try to keep Kalyn and Haley in the race a little while longer, because they're gonna get lost on almost every other leg, because they get lost almost every leg as it is. And I like I said, I like them. They're fun to watch, but they just struggle time and time again. And even if they didn't get lost, like, they're not the fastest most times to complete the individual tasks, because, like, you're Riley and Madison. Let's just use that example, because they were the second team to do this. You already know that you're doing particularly well in that leg, and you have moved fairly quickly. You also know if you're going to have your little 3-person group with Will and James and Hung and Chi, and you're like, okay, you know what, we want to stay loyal to that. You've already been annoyed with Gary and D'Angelo and feel like they haven't given you information. Like, I thought they were a little bit more helpful at times in this mega leg than others, but still, you had a golden opportunity to get rid of 2, because if there is a task that is like, haul this stuff from this place to that place, Gary is about 12 feet tall and can just pick up everything at once.
Yes, this was a perfect time for them to use that yield where it mattered, because I just think this didn't matter, like, because the blondes were not going to win. I love them. I wanted them to win so much. They are so fun, and they are such good sports, and I just like their personality so much. But because of what we had seen, I just didn't think that they were going to end up winning.
It was a baffling choice to me. I guess, though, credit to the Alliance for being able to sort of indoctrinate each other into this sort of, like, group think. We have to be together at the end, guys. It's us five. There's no jury. Like, they can't screw you over after you get rid of them.
I'm really bummed that Haley and Kalyn are gone. And I'm really bummed that they're gone.
I'm bummed that they're gone. Like, I would be, I guess, less bummed if they were gone and they didn't just get yielded twice. Like, that just sort of feels like salt in the wound.
Yeah.
Because we don't actually know how close they really were. Like, they did, like, that split screen action of, here's Kalyn and Haley. There we go. You'd think I'd get their names right before the end of this. But here they are, and the time's ticking away, and then you see the other teams working on that roadblock.
Yeah.
They never actually crossed paths. Like, Haley and Kalyn may have been, like, an hour behind them.
Yeah, they may have been.
Like, they may not have had a chance to begin with, because as we go through all of these challenges and discuss how we are going to do with some of them, they were no good at let's do the food delivery service, hauling it from one place to another.
Yeah.
By the way, Haley, once again, I like you guys. But you get lost all the time. Why did you pick this detour out of the 2 choices? That was not a good choice.
I really like you guys. And yes, you guys do get lost. But, the guys on the phone, they were amazing at giving directions. And I feel like maybe if they had been able to pick out sort of better landmarks, that these guys on the phone they were amazing.
Like, they were professionals. Like, they knew their stuff. They knew how to navigate everyone around.
Yeah, and they knew the city so well that it was just kind of like, oh, I'm passing by whatever mom and pop shop. Oh, I know exactly where you are. You're going to take a left. I'm just like, what? What?
Great advertisement for the random delivery service. And granted, we're watching this, but if any Americans are someday traveling over to India, maybe they'll remember this service and how good these people were.
They're amazing.
Like, okay, so here's the thing, though. If it was us and we were like, okay, we're at the detour, we got to choose between this and doing the video game / binary thing.
We're doing that. We're gamers over here. We love gaming. We would kill this.
Plus, here's the 2 choices. You can either stand in one place and not exercise, or go outside in the heat and wander around and tire yourself out.
I will always pick no exercise. If you've been watching this channel for a while, then you know that I won't exercise if I don't have to.
Ding, that is the correct choice.
Also, we're really good at video games.
Yes, we would dominate at least that part of it. I think we could get through a lot of this. We know that Hung and Chi have been good at every single thing known to mankind.
Yeah, even stuff that they've never done, like the carnival games.
We now know Hung and Chi's kryptonite is apparently video games, and with that in mind, Hung and Chi, once all of this is better, do you want to come over here and play some games with us?
Yes.
So we can have we can be successful.
That's
we can find the one thing to defeat us. No, Hung and Chi, though, good on them for realizing, you know what, we stink at this. Let's pivot before it's too bad. And they were still able to finish that faster than Haley and Kalyn were.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Hung was really good on the phone, talking to that guy, picking out the landmarks. That guy on the phone, man, he was so good.
I gotta say, when it comes to that task that was a little earlier in the fixing the rickshaw or the smog test.
Yeah, it was like the smog test. I was kind of wondering how this was really gonna go, because you've got people who are working. I'm assuming, if I'm to assume, that these aren't rickshaws that are here for pulling off the street. If they're really working and they're on the way to, making money, picking people up, dropping people off, then you do not want to come over to the side and be smog tested. It's just not the time.
Yeah, like
people want to make money.
What is this random large man Gary doing trying to give me a smog test? I don't know who this person is.
Yeah, it's kind of a waste of time if you're in the middle of work to pull over and do this.
Tinfoil hat time.
All right, here we go.
All the rickshaws were being driven by Amazing Race staffers. Oh, here is the production assistant driving along on the rickshaw.
I feel like it had to be something like that, because you really are taking people off the road who are working.
I can think of nothing I would enjoy less than this task, where number one, you're outside dealing with traffic. Number two, you're doing something involving auto repair, which I know zero things about.
I'm also really terrible socially, so like to have to speak up and be like, hey, can you come over here so we can smog test you? I'm really bad at that.
Yeah, well, it's okay. We have our fun with the binary challenge.
I can do that.
We can play the video game. Maybe we should just stay and play the video game, because we wouldn't be as good at anything else.
Yep.
If we're going to go, let's get some video game action in before we do.
That's right.
The roadblock for the first part of this mega leg was, okay,
mega leg.
You have to go and try to match up the turbines and then also get people standing in the right position.
Yep.
Who is doing this? I have gone back and forth in my head already.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty good with details, but this felt a lot like the painting challenge they did, like, what was that, like 2 weeks ago, where it was find someone a painting and then go and find the person at the party?
It was something kind of similar.
It was kind of similar.
I feel like I could survive this if I absolutely had to, just because, yes, my vision stinks, but the details weren't microscopic. It was sort of like just this pattern, that pattern. I think I could have figured this out, maybe.
I think I would have done all right with it. I'm pretty good with matching stuff and matching games and stuff like that.
Kudos to Riley and Madison, though, because they kind of didn't start great in this leg, but they have a real ability. They don't ever really get down or frustrated. No. They just kind of steamroll their way through.
Yeah.
They did really, really well at this, and it kind of set them up like they hadn't won a leg for a long time, but now they're kind of closing in on possible favorites to win the whole season.
Yeah, they are, although I think that Will and James are probably going to win the show.
I think they're getting the, if we were to read the tea leaves of the edit, and people don't like getting too much into the edit, it feels like they have the story of a winner. I could be wrong, but they've really been set up as the masterminds behind this whole alliance in the first place.
They are, and as much as it's not fun to always watch these mega alliances, it is great gameplay. They are great game players, so, if they do end up winning, and it feels like we are getting kind of a winner's edit, it's going to be good winners.
They would be great winners. They will have deserved it. They've clearly thought a lot of things through. But then we move on to the next part of the mega leg, which is, okay, Phil loves to do this. I know Phil's probably not the person responsible, but he loves the this or that detours.
I know.
I just want to claim it's your fault, Phil, but Okay, this is the thing with this. This was probably my least favorite part of the episode, like challenge-wise. If you're gonna do a this or that, like make sure the two things are like really, really crazy and fun. Like watching, pick out bangles. I don't need to watch that. Like that doesn't get my, that doesn't get my motor running here.
I would have done so well at that dentures thing. Like Hung, I don't have any problem with things that are sort of like gross or weird or whatever. I'm a former funeral director, so I've seen a lot of gross things in my life. Doing something like this, I would have been completely fine with.
That is good because I would have sucked. And it's basically, okay, it's attention to detail. It's, here, let's have shaky McShaky hands here. Try to find a way to get something in somebody's mouth and hold it there. This would not go well at all.
Yeah, no, and that one felt like it was also you had to get there first because it seemed like there was only one station, so the other teams would have to wait until the other person was done.
Yeah, I'm all about this. I'm not into that on this time.
I'm into that. I don't need to dig through some bangles.
Okay, the only bangles I like are the ones in Final Fantasy VII. Like, let's make this very, very clear. I do not need to dive into this. I just wish there was a different detour in general, and that is the hill I am going to die on with this.
All right.
The final roadblock. This is the best roadblock of the night. This is the best challenge of the night.
It was so good. I would have loved to have done this challenge. I love stuff like this, like proper table settings, etiquette, all that sort of stuff. I love it. Being in that dining room with that gorgeous table and all the sitar music, amazing. I would have loved to have been there.
This was very fun. It reminded me of Downton Abbey in a way, where you're getting to be, a part of the elaborate wait staff, and you're so proper, and this is why you would be doing this challenge, because you're clearly much more into it than I am.
I love it.
Like, I would enjoy being there. I would enjoy getting, like, the carriage ride. I would enjoy acting, like, all fancy and bougie,
And I would love the music.
Yeah, see, you would have done well at this, too, I feel like. Because you are passionate about this stuff. You could have arranged it.
Yes.
Gary, I think you should have a few more alarm bells going off in your head at the moment, Gary, when people are talking to each other and giving you, like, really, really vague information.
Yeah, and then even, he's walking out the doors of the thing, Gary's like, oh, okay, so is it measurements or whatever? Just be good with your attention to detail, and then left. I was just like, if I was Gary, I'd be worried. And that is something for sure I would be worried about at that point, where it's like, I am not getting any details. It is so vague.
I would have known something was awry at that point. Maybe they do, but maybe in their heart of hearts, they're probably just like, you know what? Ultimately, Haley and Kalyn, they're gonna go anyway. There's no point to ruffle any feathers now. It just, we got another leg. We can regroup. We can take on everybody at that point.
It's hard losing the underdogs. Like I said, I really liked Haley and Kalyn a lot. Their attitudes are some of the best attitudes I have ever seen on a reality show, where they were like dead last so many times, laughing through it, smiles, just having the best time. They were a pure joy to watch. A pure joy. I loved them.
Here is the funny thing now, though. Are Gary and D'Angelo, former pro NFL players, suddenly the underdogs on this season? Here's the case. Number one, nobody's giving them help anymore, clearly.
Nobody's helping Aparna either.
No, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like these other four teams, like, I think those three, they're going to root in Ishwar and Aparna a little bit.
I hope so. I really like them.
Like, I really like them too, but I would much rather go against them in the Final Four than I would two former NFL players who are, like, freakishly strong, because you don't know when that challenge is going to be coming up.
Yep.
And, Ishwar and Aparna, they haven't been, like, through the roof amazing at a lot of stuff, but they have just hung around. They're quiet. They get the job done.
Yeah, they've been really steady. And there's something that's really smart about that kind of gameplay as well. And I'm not saying that they're purposefully being the middle of the pack, but if you're in the race and you're looking at it, it's like, oh, Madison and Riley, number one, number one, number one. Will and James, number one, number one, number one. You're not paying attention to them as much because it really matters that you're getting number one at the end.
Here is the one case to be made for, and I'm not saying I want this, I'm just making it clear, this is the case to be made to gang up against Ishwar and Aparna at the next episode, is that, you fine, cover yours, you may not want to hear this.
Oh, you can see yourself out!
At the end of the race, there's always a challenge that's about all the stuff you've seen along the way, and memory task, and Ishwar and Aparna, they're incredibly smart, they're software engineers, they probably have amazing memories. This is no offense to Gary and D'Angelo. They may have very good memories as well, but I would be more worried about the perceived cerebral team at the end in that way.
I don't like hearing this.
I know you don't like Eric. I could be wrong. I mean, Ishwar and Aparna, they may get to the end and they may be terrible at that, but I would still try to get rid of Gary and D'Angelo just because I don't want to contend with somebody who's
I agree.
that much stronger than me.
I agree, and we say that as people who really like that team. I mean, this is the thing with this season, is that everyone is very likable.
I like all of the teams, and yet I don't like the Alliance. This is a very weird contradiction.
Right?
It is bizarre. I still stand by the thing last time. Phil should just assign penalties to people with alliances moving forward.
Yeah, I really would.
I know it's not gonna happen.
I'm really excited to have some sort of a reality show come in soon where there is no alliances, that it is just everyone for themselves, that there is some sort of penalty if you join an alliance or share anything. Just stop it.
Here's the crummy thing. It looks like there's a U-turn in the next leg, so that may just mean that those three may just use the U-turn on one of the two that's struggling.
Yeah, but at least now it's like 3 against 2 instead of 5 against 1. Like, it was painful to watch that.
Well, we will get some feedback from you guys. As much as they struggled, are you sad to see Haley and Kalyn go?
I am.
Is it possible that I will never ever actually completely succeed at saying their names properly without getting tongue-tied?
True.
I can't even get through that sentence at this, but it's the night before Thanksgiving. I'm just like, turkey. Like, that's like 95% of my brain at this point. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Let us know what you thought about this episode. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, give us a like, support us further. Check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we will see you here next time.